Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Live from Bali. So, this was actually recorded yesterday because, with the timing of everything, it was just easier for me to do it instead of being 15 hours ahead. But I would love to share my experience so far. I've had just an incredible, beautiful experience here. And there's a lot of duality. And I want to talk about some stuff as well that I think people don't mention when they talk about Bali that was a little bit eye-opening to me. And this is a beautiful, magical place, but and you can live very much in luxury, as you might see with this incredible villa that I am staying at, with this beautiful kitchen. All of that's there because I just saved 2 dragonflies out of the pool. But there's this incredible duality here, and the duality that travel teaches us. So I'd like to talk about that. But first, I want to tell you, obviously, I was not planning to live stream from here. So I don't have my regular camera, my mic. So you're going to hear wind and animals and probably water, I don't know, dripping from the pool into wherever that thing is going. My phone buzzing in the background, maybe some banging, some bugs, all different types of things. So surrender to the situation. We're in Bali. Thank you for being here. Dogs barking. And this is just on my regular laptop, so might not have the best audio. But I want to talk about this incredible experience that I've been having here because it's been profound. It's been healing. It's been, my Scorpio rising self, extremely deep and reflective, not surface level at all. And I'm also here with 2 incredible people. I'm here with my friend Tony Ghazi and my friend Nicolette Morgan. And they're both spiritual channelers. We're here because Tony's filming a documentary. He's a subject of a documentary. And that's where he is right now. So I have a little bit of free time to do this. And now Tony Ghazi has been on my podcast already, so you can check him out. He channels mantis beings, and he's just incredible, beautiful message that he shares. And I could talk about some of that later. And then Nicolette Morgan, if you're not familiar with her, I'll have her on my podcast soon after this. And I just love her. And she is also a channeler and a healer. And she channels many different beings, more of an open channel. She channels Pleiadians, Arcturians, mantis beings. She's like, whoever's coming through for that person. Is it grays? Is it angels? Is it, she says a lot. What has been coming up recently is Divine Mother. So this divine feminine energy that has been coming forward for a lot of people. She says a lot of earth energies come through, really whatever that person that she's working with, their team is. And, that's her gift. So I'll have her on and we could talk more about that, and we can ask about the Divine Mother stuff. So, but I want to, because I'm going to be sharing a couple of videos of what we've been doing, I want you to know who I'm here with. So I want to talk a little bit about this experience that I had yesterday. So it's about my 3rd day here, 4th maybe, and we went to a shaman yesterday, a healer, our driver. So one thing that's really beautiful about Bali is that obviously it's very spiritual and everybody has so much reverence. Like your driver, your coffee shop, every single person, construction, every single person has reverence. One of the things that's really beautiful about driving through some of the neighborhoods is I was asking the driver, I'm like, oh, is that like a small local temple? And he's like, no, everybody has a temple in their house. And I'm like, that's somebody's house temple? And then I started seeing every single house. And these are the things, the luxuries that our world, Western world, my world, and this world, it's really been a reflection around luxuries, because one thing that I think doesn't get talked about enough one thing that people do, first start with that. One thing that people do talk about when they come to Bali is how you can live very luxuriously for very little money. Like basically we've gotten massages every day, 90-minute massages. It comes to like $1 million in their currency here, and that's about $60 in the US. And obviously we tip them. And they're just the sweetest, most amazing, beautiful people. And they've been coming to us every morning to do this. And so things like that, we've had every morning for breakfast a private chef come, which is again about $1 million. And that $1 million is around 60 US dollars. So we hear a lot about that part of Bali when you come here. We hear a lot about like how luxurious you can live. And this is why a lot of digital nomads come here, because a little bit of money goes a very long way and you get to live a lifestyle that you could only dream of in the Western world. Now, there's also the other side of it, which is, going to Ubud. We're staying outside of Ubud. So going to Ubud, to like the center, shopping center, city, that was very chaotic. And, I live in LA. I live on Hollywood Boulevard. I lived in Times Square before that. Like, I grew up in Jersey City. Like, I am used to chaotic. This is a different level of chaotic because, you have like what would be the length of one lane of traffic is two-way cars and like 20 lanes of motorbikes and mopeds and Vespas. So it's very chaotic. So it really makes you think about some other luxuries. Like, you can live very luxuriously here, but then there's some other luxuries like sidewalks, traffic lights. You could have a driver all day who, for not very much, stays with you all day, takes you to everywhere you need to go, waits for you, holds your stuff in the car. And it's just like so like beautiful, so much reverence for everything and so much love and respect for everyone, and so kind, and really just like a beautiful luxury to have. But then, there's these other aspects like, you know, getting, say for example, we got food, we wanted something that was like a little bit like safe to eat, and got a burger. The burger, was a little questionable. And we're like, I don't know about this. This tastes a little strange. We're like, what type of meat is this? They're like, oh no, it's beef, it's cow. And we're like, oh, how is it prepared? Because like, what is this? What is this texture? What is this taste? I'm scared. I can't go anymore. I need some clarity on what's going on. Sorry, the wind is picking up. It might start raining, then I go inside. So, but if I go inside, it might get a little echoey. So they're like, oh, it's minced beef. And we're like, this is one of those things that is, we don't have the best quality meat in the US of the world, but when it's a burger, it's all ground up at the same size. So every single portion has the same consistency and size. There's like some butterflies here. I hope they come over. So yeah, and this is not a complaining. This is just the reality of it. But then there's a lot of many places, and we've gone to a couple places. So I want to talk about what I did yesterday. But I know a lot of people think about like Bali and coming, and it's beautiful. And I have a lot more to see and explore here. So yesterday we went and had like a very healing spiritual day, and we saw a shaman. I'm going to put the video up actually. Let's see here. So we went to this shaman, this healer lady. They called them, our driver was calling them the ladies. And he was saying that God picks them. These people don't pick to be healers. These people don't pick to be what they do. God picks them, what they do. And this is her here. And this was an incredible experience because we didn't know what to expect. We had booked this. We knew we had to do this Balinese healing. I couldn't tell you where we went or what this woman's name was or what type of healing this was. But you can see here, she takes a little bit of oil and goes to our feet. And she had some very strong hands. Goes to our feet. We did one by one in this little room that is created by some curtains, and starts rubbing your feet in a way that was very painful, but can tell everything that's going on. She's like, oh, your neck and your shoulders. Have you been getting headaches lately? She's like, what's going on with your digestion right now? Um, all of these discomforts that were in the body, she immediately knew. And then that's when she told me to turn around. And then she did a massage on me. And as I was sitting there on the floor, I was reminded of some of the stuff that had come up when I was in Peru doing ayahuasca. And one thing that was coming up a lot for me at that time was the uneven exchange with others, is that I was giving a lot. Like, I can hold the space for other people when they are stressed or have something going on, a problem in their life, something that they need clarity on, something that they need guidance with. I can hold a big space for that. I can be, and I love doing that for people. But last year, I had a rough time with my shadow work journey, as I had posted about, and I really needed like more support. And I did have support. My best friend Chelsea can hold a very large space for me. My sister Jess, all of them have been on my podcast already. So listen to all the episodes to like know more about them, because they're really amazing. I'm lucky. Everyone that has been on so far is just amazing person in real life that I love. And but I was going through a lot with that shadow work journey, because I was feeling all of these things that I thought weren't, and it comes back to what's going on now. But, since I did ayahuasca the first time 2 years ago, I've been shedding parts of myself, of who I think I am, what I know of myself, what my identity is, what I like, what I don't like, what is the reason for me being this way, looking at not just my bad qualities that I want to improve on, but my best qualities. Why do I have this best quality? Why am I strong? Oh, I'm strong because I had to be strong. Why can I clearly communicate myself, clearly communicate what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling? Maybe not what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking. And oh, because I had to, because I had to say things. I had to call people out at a young age. I wouldn't be heard otherwise. So I had to stand my ground. I had to be defiant. I had to be these things. So things that are my best qualities, and I always say that when I talk about shadow work, is they say, like, what are things you don't like about yourself? That's not the fucking shadow. if you don't like it about yourself, it's probably not your shadow. It's probably in the open. What is the things that you don't know about yourself is, okay, what is my best quality? What are the things that I love about myself? What is the origin of that? So I went through a lot with shedding who I am, what I am, how I see myself. What are the reasons I like certain things? What are the reasons I don't like certain things? Why do I learn this way? Why do I show up this way? Why do I feel these things? Not just what am I triggered by? What makes me happy? All of this was a big shedding of who I am. And I had a really rough time. And as you guys know, I had all types of stuff going on about that. And it made me literally ill. I was in bed after doing a soul retrieval with Chelsea. And during that time when I was in Peru, it was coming up like this uneven exchange of like, I can hold space for people. I can give them advice. I can help them. I can guide them. But who could do that for me? And I need a lot. And everybody, has things going on in their life. And I can't rely just on like one or two people to do all of that for me. And I can do that for thousands of people in a collective at times. And I can do that for a lot of friends, dozens of friends. And I can do it sometimes, a lot of times in a day, because, if somebody needs advice, I want them to come to me and be able to talk to me about it. But I was just really feeling like uneven and a little like, well, what about me? Then I was in Peru on the floor, unable to move on the ayahuasca, getting my ass kicked. And Mother Aya told me, keep doing it, no matter how uneven it is. Keep helping those people. Keep giving advice to the person who could never give you advice. Keep doing the thing that this person would never do for you. Keep doing the thing that this person's incapable of doing. You need support, and this person can never do that. But you can give them the support that they need. Do it. Keep doing it. Don't worry, because we, the universe, God, Mother Aya, we've got you. We've got, and then, the way that I did the ayahuasca, which I've talked about in past videos, is like, that was divine. The way that I ended up at Rhythmia, the way that I ended up at Solterra, the way I ended up in those situations was literally a gift from the universe, was divinely guided, was the universe orchestrated so many people to someone else, to someone else, to someone else, to someone else that made it to me, that then put me in the room in Peru with these two incredible maestros, mother and son from the jungle in Peru, singing to me, doing a healing on me. And I was just like, wow, I could never repay these people. I could never hold a space for them that is even, that is equal. And the universe was showing me, like, you right here, right now, Mother Aya, all the people that are the facilitators, this beautiful facility, these maestros, their lineage of thousands of years going back to their grandparents and their grandparents and their grandparents, and the hundreds of year old vine are here to support and help you. So you do what you can, and we'll do what we can, and we're going to bring it to you. And so as this woman, as you saw in the video, is doing that to my feet, I'm looking around at her little shop, her little created by curtains hanging room. She has these like cinder blocks on the floor with these two tiger statues and a shrine, an altar. And I'm looking around and I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful because, again, here the universe has brought me to another situation, to another person that I could never repay, that I could never do for, that could never be an equal exchange, that I could never, and I don't need to, and I don't have to feel guilty about it. And I can just receive it from someone who this is their gift. And of course, we paid, but that's, in relation to what she's doing, is like, she's literally like a vessel of God. And I'm looking at her little stuff around. Ooh. I usually am not afraid of bugs like that, but it kind of looked like it was going in my mouth. It might have not looked like that to you guys, but to me, it looked like it was going in my mouth. And I'm looking at her. I'm sitting on this little oily mattress on the floor, and it's just her and her strong ass hands and her little bowl of oil. And I was just like overwhelmed, and I like start tearing up and start like, I'm just so grateful. Like, here I am again. The universe did this again. The reason I'm here is because Tony took me along with him and has gotten this beautiful villa for us and has been so beautiful and generous. And then the universe gives us the most amazing driver and brings us to this woman. And it's like, we've got you. Keep doing it. Keep listening to that person who's not going to keep listening to that person who will still not take your advice, but still wants to tell you their problem, and say it again for them, and be patient with them. Because the universe then 10 times over has orchestrated these beautiful experiences for me. Like, to be able to heal, and then I get to take these experiences and share them in a way that like helps, hearing these things for some people, for some, it's not, for some, it's just like someone talking in Bali. And for some people, this is medicine that they need to hear right now, of like, where's my support? Who's there for me? Why am I there for everybody? I need it right now. I don't feel strong enough right now. And I don't have that person. And it's like, trust in the process instead of like, there's the other side of it, the psychological side, the psychology, the Western therapy side, which says like, don't be a people pleaser and don't do, and if it's not equal, and if this person's sucking your energy, and there's a level of that. But if you have the desire to be there for someone, and the only thing making you not do it is because they would never do it for you, then just trust that I want to do this for this person, and mine is coming. And mine's going to be so beautiful and so grand, beyond my wildest dreams. And beautiful is a little oily mattress on the floor in Bali with some cinder blocks on the floor. And I'm looking at her altar and I'm like starting to cry, because it's like, I'm here with people that also do spiritual work, that do even more spiritual work than I do. And I'm looking around and I'm like, not that one is above or below or more than less, because we're all exactly where we need to be, and we're all the mirror for who we need to be the mirror for, and we're all exactly what we need to be for ourselves at that moment too. But I'm looking around and I'm like, all of the stuff is a distraction. The branding, the marketing, the spiritual businesses of like, oh, well, what should my Instagram name be? And how should I market myself? And what type of videos should I post? And what should my hook be? And, I don't do so much of that. I mean, obviously I have my like JK Ultra light behind my head, of course, in my, where I film at home. But all of it is also like, it was just looking at her little cinder blocks with tiger statues on it was like, it's all a distraction. So for those of us, myself, it's windy, and those listening who are like trying to start your spiritual business, wanting to create a retreat, wanting to create that healing center, wanting to write that book, wanting to offer your services, do coaching, do healing, do readings, like, I know that you have to do those things to meet the right people. I'm going to come closer in case it's too windy. Yeah, like we have to put ourselves out there to be seen and to find the right people who we're meant to help, but also like it's a distraction. And like, don't get lost in those distractions. Don't get lost in those, what should my podcast name be? What should the thumbnail be? What should my setup be? What should my Instagram handle be? What should be the style of my videos? How do I want to show up online? Really go to like, how can me, being me, help people as best as I can at this moment, at this time? Not in my highest self, not in who I am in 100 years, not who I am at my highest form, not who I am with all my money, not who I am with all my things that I'm going to want in life and get in life, not with a crazy villa, not with all of these things that we think we're going to have. Oh, when I have all my equipment, when I have all my lighting, when I have my studio set up, when I have my marketing team, when I have an assistant, when I have an editor, not then. How can you, who you are today, help people? And to sit with it. So then we went and did another healing with this lady. So I was completely transformed. I was completely transformed by that experience. So then, we did some other things here. I think I actually had a different video than this. She had poured coconut water on my head, which is why in those videos that you'll see on Instagram, or did see on Instagram the other day, by the time that this is up, why my head looks so dirty and greasy is because she poured out of a coconut poured the coconut on my head. And just look at her. This is like real beauty here. That's the thing too. Like when I've met these healer women, like the maestra who was in Peru, this little woman. She was the most beautiful thing I ever saw. Just like this woman is so beautiful. Because it's like living in LA, I'm so surrounded, and being online, all of us being online, being on the internet, is so surrounded by all this stuff. What's the right look? What's perfect? What's a good body? What's a good look? Oh, these bags under my eyes right now from this lighting and the angle of the camera, and that they're also mine, and that I'm sleeping a couple hours a night. And then you meet these healers, modest, in the middle of who knows where, in Bali. I don't know where it was. And it's the most beautiful person ever. You know? So we also did the healing waters. And I'm going to talk a little bit about the healing waters, but I kind of want to tell you in between. So we had our driver. We did a little tour. So he took us a bunch of different places. He took us to a temple, and he went above and beyond with the camera. Like, that is one thing that's amazing about Bali, is that like the drivers, the people who work at places, they're not playing. They know that you're here for your Instagram video, and they go above and beyond. So I got to show you this guy. He's like, okay, you start here and then you walk there. And when you walk there, turn around, okay? With your arms up. And we're like, oh, okay, sure. Yeah, that's a good idea for a video. Hold on. You ready for this? Hold on. The way he started. He used the slow-mo. I mean, look at this. It's like, what is this? A spiritual superhero movie? We were so blown away. Look at this. Look at the sky, the slow-mo. And then there's Nicolette and Tony. Above and beyond. So we did a couple of other things. We went to a coffee plantation, which was really interesting because I learned a lot about coffee. I didn't know coffee was a berry. I didn't know that inside that berry is where the bean is. And it's also, I didn't know that in this berry, if it has one bean, that's called a male. And if it has two beans, it's called a female. And that the male beans are stronger than the female beans. And it was very interesting. I learned a lot. And then you might be aware of the poop coffee. So the poop coffee, if you're not familiar, I had heard about it recently and heard it's like the best coffee in the world is the poop coffee. I'm like, I heard about it a couple months ago and I was like, poop coffee? I'm never going to drink poop coffee. Well, I drank poop coffee. Spoiler alert. But it's called a lua, the animal. It looks kind of like a raccoon mixed with a lemur. And they eat the berries and then they poop them out. And then they take the poop and they don't chew the seeds, which are the beans. So then those get digested fully, intact, undisturbed. They get, cleaned off, I assume, hope. there's a little process. I was still kind of processing what I was taking in. I don't know why I thought they were growing in the poop, kind of like mushrooms. I didn't realize they're just eating it. And they say the reason it's good, I don't know why. One of the reasons it's good is because they have the best taste in the berries and they know it's the best berries. So you're getting the best beans. You just got to, it's got a process to get to before you can get those beans. And so we had that. I should have added more videos, but we had the poop coffee because then they roast it. That's what makes the beans caffeinated. And it was pulsing through my veins. I could have smoked crack with the amount of caffeine in the poop coffee, the male poop coffee. If I was were like, go hard, let's get the strong stuff. Yeah, that was something. So then we went from the poop coffee to the holy waters. So the holy waters are, it's a temple and it's this natural spring where the water comes out of this spring and it's a healing water. We happened to go yesterday, which is, you know, our driver was telling us like, this is a magical day. This is a very magical day. So there's going to be a lot of locals there. You're doing it on the best day ever. And so I'm like, oh my God, like, what is this magical day? They're like, oh yeah, it's just like, you know, part of our religion. And I'm like, okay, well, how often does this magical day come? He's like, every 15 days. I'm like, oh, okay. I was like, I don't know. Is this once a year magical day? Every 15 days. Doesn't make it less magical. Every 15 days, we deserve a magical day, right? I mean, look, we do the full moon and the new moon. That's like 15 days apart. Does that make it not magical? No. So I'm going to show you a couple things of that. Oh, oh, yeah, sorry. So this is some other people going to the holy waters and cleansing themselves. That's our driver. That's the temple, and then there, yeah. Here's the offerings. So you do the offering. There's the sarongs that everybody puts on to go into the waters. And now I'm probably going to mute this so that it's not so intense water sounds. But so here's me, Nicolette, and Tony going in, doing our prayer, which is you pray for what you would like, he said. And I'm like, I'm praying for wow, for the universe knows better than I do. Time and time again, the universe, God, synchronicity, gifts, all of it knows better than I do what is right for me, what I need. 10 times better than what I'm thinking is what happens when I surrender, when I allow, when I say yes, when I open up to those possibilities. So that was my prayer. My wish was, you got me, get me then. You know, like you are there for me, then I'm gonna give you the wheel, you know? And so then what after you give your prayer, your offering, then you go to the holy water. And what you do is you take it 3 times. You go gargle, spit it out 3 times. Then you do drink it 3 times. We were like, can we drink it? He's like, yeah, it's clean, it's safe, drink it. We're like, okay. Well, by the end, we probably drank a whole gallon each. So then last night we had some of Tony's friends that are locals come over for dinner, and they were like, you drank it? You guys feel okay? We're like, yeah, we feel amazing. I never felt this good in my whole life. I feel like I did ayahuasca. I feel healed. I feel full of gratitude. They're like, how's your stomach feel? I'm like, I'm good. I'm rocking. But what was funny is right before they came over, we had gotten another massage. I go to my room and I'm like, oh my God, is there hives on my cheek? And then I come out and Nicolette is like, having Tony, she's like, do I have hives? So me and Nicolette both had hives on our cheeks. Hard to say what it was caused by. We did drink poop coffee. So I don't know. Was it drinking a lot of the holy water? Was it some histamine response? Who knows? There was so many factors of so many different things along the way and along the day that could have caused something of the nature. But it went down pretty quickly after. So I couldn't tell you what it was. But so you do the gargle 3 times, drink 3 times, then wash your face 3 times, then over your head 3 times, then dunk your head 3 times, which is what you see happening right here in this video. I wish I could zoom it in. Does it zoom in? Not really. No. But you see, I went 3 times. Now Tony's going to go 3 times. And then you go backwards. So you do forward 3 times, and then you turn around and do it backwards 3 times. So then we would hold each other because it was kind of powerful, the waters. And then, our driver had such reverence that he was like, do them all. So then we move over and we do the other ones along the way. And it was just so, like, I was overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed with gratitude. And it's like, not only is the universe going to provide the people who can hold a space big enough for me, bigger than the space I need. It's going to provide the abundance of nature. And like, look at this abundance. Like, look at that video. Look at the water abundance, the lush, the way that it was completely full. I don't know what that is. That sound. It's a little piercing. I don't know if you can hear that sound. It might be super difficult. To, you know what? I'm going to actually maybe face the other way. So, yeah, because it might be some construction next door. So, yeah, it's better over here. I think I'm just going to sit here by the pool. Okay, put my feet in. And then there's the kitchen behind us. So yeah, you see we're doing it. And then we do each one of those. And it was just so, like, the universe is going to provide exactly the space of healing that is needed. It's going to provide not only the healer woman who can hold that space, it's also going to provide nature, Mother Nature's way of doing it. It's going to be through, people, places, things, objects, synchronicities, moments, and being able to see those things versus just in that moment of uneven exchange. It feels not good because it can feel like you're being used, you're not seeing value, or you're not being met with the same energy that you're putting out. But if you look in the big picture, it's like Mother Aya was telling me, like, it all comes out in the wash. It all comes out in the wash. What? I don't know why I'm struggling to. Okay. I think it was like backwards going the other direction. But it all comes out in the wash. Everything that you do for people comes back to you, and that's not the reason that you're doing it, which is why sometimes it doesn't come back in the moment, to really show that you're not doing it to get with something back. And sometimes getting it back is a year later. Sometimes it's 5 years later. Sometimes it's 10 years later. In some ways, Bali, the ayahuasca, all of that. Yeah, this is one of my gifts from the universe, which I believe is some return on what I've given. But then also it comes through people, like, with my relationship, like, I'm beyond grateful. Like, I can't even, every single day, can't believe how grateful I am. Because like say, for example, being here, one of the things that has been a big message for me, aside from this gift of back and forth that happens in the world, is when I came here, I'm like, and over the last couple weeks, I stopped wearing all black. I've started to do things and see myself in ways that are different of the way I see myself. I'm willing to grow beyond who I am. I'm getting married. I'm leaving LA. I'm leaving my community, my friends, my home, LA being my home that I've nourished for like 13, 14 years now. But I'm like, I want to grow beyond everything that I think I am, because this has been the journey with my shadow work from the ayahuasca. And it's like, I want to grow beyond everything that I thought I was, because the true self is the all, right? We're one. We're God. God is all. But I'm limiting myself by being I am, you are, they are, this is. And it's like, I don't want to keep living like that, because yeah, sure, it's fine. It serves me really well to know who I am. I know myself. I've known myself for a long time. I know how I am. I know what I like. I know what I don't like. There's power in that. But then there's a lot of power in being, what if I let all of that go and am willing to be the things that I don't know, things that I don't think I am, for better or worse, whatever that thing is. So that's coming here. A big part of what I wanted to work on and heal and address and nourish is like, so say, for example, in my relationship, we were talking on the phone about human design. And you guys know that, I give all the examples. I'm like, Dolores Cannon said it, this person said it, this person said it. I'm like, oh, the Pleiadian said it in this book in 1992, and then this one. And I'm like, oh, and then Marissa Peer says it, Joe Dispenza says it. That's how I learn. Part of the reason why a lot of people are here now is because of my TikTok videos, where I took all the prophecies and put them together, all the New Earth stuff and put it together, all the timeline stuff and put it together, all the alien stuff and put it together, because that is how my brain works. I like a lot of evidence about a lot of different things, a lot of different sources, and what is a parallel in these sources. That's how I learn. That's how I understand things. And, with my partner, he, I'm telling him about, oh, well, this person is this and this person is that. And he's like, that's not helpful to me. Like, I don't learn that way. So, like, you can tell me Chelsea's this, Tony's this, but that's not how I learn. I learn by looking at my own stuff and reflecting and going inward. And that's how I understand the human design. Versus me, I'm like, oh, well, Chelsea has a completely open crown and she does shamanic journeying. My partner has a completely open root and works in the military. Nicolette has a completely open throat chakra and she's a channeler. And I'm like, whoa. So now I like those patterns. I like, oh, yours is this and this is your job and that's how it plays out. And yours is this and this is how this plays out. So I'm communicating like that. But that's not really helpful to him. It's too much information about too many different things that don't matter. And we communicated that with each other so we can understand why, we're talking about different things on the same subject. And I was like, that's really beautiful that we can both say, I'm this way, you're this way. And oh my gosh, I'm so grateful to be in a relationship that I can do that. And we can talk about that. And then I went one step further and I was like, wait, but I want to be more than I am. So if I say I'm this way, this is how I learn, this is how I teach, this is how I understand. And you're saying this is how you are, how you learn, how you teach, how you understand. I want to grow beyond that. And I want to, if it's right for you, if you want to grow beyond what you are, then I want that for you, if you want that. And then I'm like thinking like, oh, well, we see ourselves through other people's eyes. So then after that, I had a conversation with him and was like, can you do your best? And I'll do my best to hold a space of openness for me to be something different of what you know of me. And I'll hold a space for you to be something different than what you are, if you want to be. Like, let's say, okay, like a stupid example. Like, let's say I don't know. I hate those like this, like spring rolls. The like rice paper around it. I just think it's gross. I don't want to eat goo. Okay, like I think the goo is gross. I'd rather just have not a spring roll. Is it a spring roll? No, the other one. The ones with the rice paper. Whatever. A fresh spring roll, not the fried one. I forget what they're called. But like that goo around it, the rice paper, I'm not gonna convince. Like me and Chelsea will go out, and I'm like, honestly, dude, I think it's fucking gross. I hate them. I don't want to eat some clear goo, sticky cold shit. And okay, but that's what I like. That's what I think. But I'm like, just as an example, if that's something I don't like, then one day I want to order that so that I can step outside of who I am, what I like, all of these things. Sometimes we need someone else to hold the space and say, like, not be like, I thought you didn't like those. And not that this is a real example of what happened. This is hypothetical. But like, then can we hold this space for other people to allow them to be what we don't think they are? Like, say, like, oh, now you want to do this. Sometimes in relationships, and I mean, it's very easy for me to say this because I've only been in my relationship for less than 6 months. But I'm grateful that we're having this conversation early on, because then I know people who've been in a relationship over a decade. It's a lot harder to say, like, it's a lot harder to just be like, oh, you can be something completely different than what you were. You know, like you can be someone who you've never known to be. Oh, and I have one more video of this that I'll put on. Oh, yeah. This is what he did, the slow mo. Look at this. He did the slow mo. He's so good. I know. I just got super distracted. Look how gorgeous. Look at us. Healed. We literally looked like different people after. It was like ceremonial. Wow. Look at Nicolette. Okay. So now I'm done with those. Now I could just fully continue this. But let's say, you're in a relationship and your partner doesn't want to do something, doesn't like to do something. There's been a fight around something in the past. And now you keep asking them to change this thing. Like, say, I don't know, they want to do something sexually. And you're like, no, 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 no. Or you want them to do something or whatever, one person. Then, because there's like all this tension around it, maybe they like attempt to do it. And then because your feelings have been hurt around that situation, then you're like, oh, now what would like, or like say like someone like initiating sometimes is like a thing that happens in people's relationships. Like attraction can die over time. And then one person always initiates. And then that person's like, I always have to initiate with you. I'm just thinking of like common examples that people have in relationships. And then that person does initiate and doesn't know how to handle it because they've so used to feeling rejected by that person or feeling like they have to be the one, that they can't hold the space to be like, oh, let me let you change. Let me let you be a different person. For me, this happened in the relationship with my brother, who I don't know, I talked about that I haven't talked to my brother since I went to go see my dad, and my dad refused to see me. And I got mad at my brother of how he handled it in that situation. I talked about it in an old video. But before I ended up finally talking to him after like 8 or 10 months or something. And we got into a huge screaming match fight before I left to Bali. And it was just a cycling of the same problem, of the same thing, with the same outcome, with the same thing. But one thing from that is like, my brother knows me for 30 something years. We know each other since birth. So, like, I was emotionally shut down for most of my life. It was hard to hurt my feelings because I barely had fucking feelings, except for anger and frustration. But sadness, pain, those types of things were not there. Me being like emotional, me being saying loving things, things like that, being emotionally available, emotionally present, were not something that was present. Then I've grown and changed so much that he still sees me as the sister that I once was. And I asked him after I did the ayahuasca a couple times ago, maybe like the first time, second time, I don't know, probably the first time. And I was like, I'm different now. And I need you to see me differently. And I need you to see that, like, when I do say something that is emotional or something that is in touch with my feelings in a way that I was not able to be when I was younger, that you're not going to be like, oh, what's that? Oh, like, and then feel like ashamed or rejected or something about that. And it's like, so I'm grateful, right now in my relationship, those things aren't really that much like a thing because it's new. But I'm like here and I'm thinking about these things and I'm seeing these patterns all over in other people's lives and other people in my life and myself, even my own family and things like that. And I'm like, I want to like be willing to change. And if like that makes the other person uncomfortable, okay. Like I also want to hold the space that like if he wants to change, then okay, I need to be comfortable or learn or sit with my feelings if he's different than what I expect, or if I'm different than what I expect, because we see ourselves through other people's eyes. And like the change that happened to me by getting into this relationship is like so fucking profound in my life. And I'm just beyond grateful every single day. But really, the reason I know is because Chelsea sees I'm different. My sister sees I'm different. My friends see I'm different. They're like, wow, Jen, you're a completely different person since you got into this relationship. And so I know I feel different. I know I'm different, but it's sometimes other people saying, whoa, you're different. That lets us know, oh, I really am. And it anchors it into the reality for us. It's kind of like if a tree falls and nobody hears it, does it fall? The whole saying. And it's like, if the tree falls and nobody witnesses it, does it fall? Some will say yes, some will say no. Depends if you're asking from the quantum level, if you're asking from the 3D logical level. But if I change and nobody can see my change, doesn't mean I didn't change, but it makes it harder to feel safe in that change. So, this is the stuff because like coming here, I'm like, I want to change, not change everything about myself, but I want to be, because I like who I am, but I want to be able to be more than who I am and be able to hold the space for others to change, hold the space for myself to change, my views of others to change. If there's something that one of my bad qualities is that, I can be possessive or jealous. Like, what if I am not? Or what if one day I am and one day I'm not? Or what if I am about one subject and not about another? At least, like, give myself the space to change. Because, Joe Dispenza says most people by the age of 35 are who they're going to be. And I'm 36, right? I think I'm going to be 37 in August. I don't know what I am, actually. It's open for debate. I'm changing. I'm a new me. But like, do I want to be this way for the rest of my life? Do I want to start this relationship and say, this is who we are for the rest of our lives? Or do I want to say, let's go on a journey together and be willing to be these different things and change over time? And, you know, I mean, I don't know, it's popping into my mind now, but like say for example, today, you guys know Aubrey Marcus, right? Aubrey Marcus and his wife, Ilana, posted about now they're polyamorous and now they have a third in their relationship. And that Vilana was in a relationship with a guy for the last year. And now they're in a throuple with Alana. So it's Vilana, and Alana. And that shit's triggering to like the whole spiritual community right now. Like the spiritual community is like going the fuck off in their comment section right now, insulting them, all of these things. And I know part of it is because Vilana and Aubrey have been an example of a healthy union that is spiritually aligned in this space. And that scares a lot of people for them to not be that, for them to go to polyamory, for Vilana to have in the past talked about she wants to be radically chosen. She wants to be fully devoted to because she's been cheated on so much in the past. She wants someone who wants her and only her and treats her with love and reverence as a goddess. And she doesn't have to worry about other women. But now they're in this polyamorous relationship. Who knows what the full nature of everything is, right? I'm triggered by it. The reality of it is I'm triggered, because I also want to see in the world these examples of relationships that they were projecting, whether that was ever true or not, whether it is true or not. And, but at the same time, are they going to hold the space for each other to change? Are we going to hold the space for people to change? Are we going to hold the space for people on the internet to change? My personal feelings about it is I'm like, what the fuck? I don't like it. I'm like, is it manipulative? Is it lies? Is it just break up? Those are all my feelings coming up. Do I want to do it? No. Oh, hi. How are you? Oh, thank you. Thanks for coming. So, but can even in the internet world, can we hold the space for people to change? Can the people who watch me hold the space for me to change? Hi. Thank you. And so, can we hold the space for me to change? Can I hold the space for someone to change? Can I hold the space for a relationship that was a nice example to change? Can I hold the space for someone I like to then do things that I don't like over time, or to no longer be that person? Or if people are the same and I'm changing, can I hold the space for them not changing? Anyway, I had a card. We've been using this since we've been here. We've been using this Modern Nirvana Oracle deck, and it's just been like the most beautiful guidance. I don't know. I was a bit called to read to you the card that I got yesterday. But now I think I'm going to pull one for us right now, for everybody listening. And we'll see if something flips over. If not, we'll pull one. And what message for everybody? Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I love this card. Okay. Not the card that I was going to show for you guys today. Nourishment. Beautiful. Look at these vessels, this rainbow, this abundance that's growing from all of these full vessels. I'm going to read it for you. Okay. Remember to take care of yourself. You can't pour from an empty cup. These 3 simple words can go a very long way. How are you? Right now, you are being asked to reflect on how you're truly feeling and what you're currently doing to take care of yourself. The nourishment card is here to remind you to practice self-care any way that you can. Eat good food, dance, draw, sing, jump, move, treat yourself. Now is the time to nurture your mind, body, and soul. And this card is asking you to do something today to fill your cup back up. There is an ancient Chinese practice that advises leaving 30% in the tank. For example, leaving a party when you are having the most fun, so you don't completely tap your energy resources and you're still left wanting more. Everyone needs something different in order to feel healthy and whole. So find what works for you and devote yourself to it today, even if it's just lying on your back and breathing on the ground and connecting with your heart. Your intuition knows what you need, so be open to following it. Life is not about what you do, but about how happy you are when you get to participate in each life experience. Therefore, in order to magnetize your dream experiences, you must remember to focus on how your core energy is being sustained and how much happiness you can imbue into your highest intentions. Pulling this card may also serve as a warning that you might be unconsciously on autopilot or missing out on life. This happens to all of us throughout the course of our lives because our brain loves to conserve energy through repetition. Unfortunately, we aren't naturally programmed to always do what's best for us. Instead, what's convenient and comfortable. Practice life as a moment-to-moment mastery of presence and awareness. This is much easier done when you have the life force energy to do so. So take today and make it unapologetically yours. Enjoy breathing in life as you experience the best it has to offer. Nourish your heart wholly and fully. Mantra: I fill my cup with love and joy. So when others need me, I can be fully present and aware. I am worthy of nourishment as a form of self-care. Interesting. Coming back to others needing you. So that is all for today's Tuesday Night Live. Thank you guys for being here, for being on this journey with me, and for coming to Bali with me. And yeah, I will see you guys next Tuesday as we are getting closer to my book coming out finally, which is a whole nother thing about myself and who I am and all of these things. And this is one other aspect. As you guys know, my book coming out is called Cannot Included, and it's about the modern programming of the programming of the modern woman and what created the modern woman, similar to the manufacturing of a plastic doll that is so popular. And basically, it breaks down all of the different things that make us women think who we are, going to the origin of it, and then saying, do I want this? And it doesn't tell you what's right or wrong. It tells you, this is it. This is the programming. This is what we think we need in appearance. This is what we think we need in love. This is what we think we need in men. This is what we think we need in ourselves. This is what we think we need money-wise. This is what we think we need, what our wedding's supposed to look like, what our relationships are supposed to look like, what happiness is supposed to look like, how our bodies are supposed to operate. This is all programming. Let's get to the bottom of it. Let's make a little fun of it. Share my personal stories in the process, my most intimate personal stories, and then go from there and see, who do I want to be? I'm in charge. It doesn't matter what anybody else wants to do. So thank you guys for being here. See you next Tuesday.